Good morning. My name is Michael Robinson, and I'm going to be demoing my MVC small project for my object-oriented development class at Columbus State University. So as you open up, I'm running this in client mode through Visual Studio. When I run it, this is the first page that comes up. It's just a launch page for you to choose your three files. And So if you choose your three files, which are your clients text file, your movies text file, and your rental info text file, you just click the files you want to choose. So I have them right here, and I'll upload each one of them. And notice when you upload it successfully, it shows you. And if there was an error, it would also tell you that. So I've done my clients and movies, and now I do my rental info, and they should all be there. If I drag over my Windows Explorer, my File Explorer, you'll see the three files that I've added at 922. It's now 923. And they are in the uploaded files of my solution folder. So now if I come over to clients, these are the three clients that I've added in myself with some just fake data in them. So just from this screen, you can see the client name, client ID, whether they are deleted or not. Notice you can't do it right here, but if you were to choose delete over here, you could delete a client and it would populate, and I'll show that in just a minute. You can rent a movie, you can return a movie, you can see details for a client, and you can delete a client. And also up here, there's a create new client, so let me go ahead and show that. Just a couple fields, just the name, and notice the client ID auto populates. It takes the max ID and adds one to it. So if I hit create, we go back to the list, and here's the client that we created down here, Stuart Alston. And it's got the client ID of 4, and they're not deleted. And I'll go ahead and show the delete option. So the one I just created, Stuart Alston, I click delete, they are now deleted. And if I were to show you the client file, the Stuart Alston, this last section, the true and false is whether they're deleted or not. So if Michael is deleted, the next two are not, Stuart is. And if you just wanted to see, just to make sure I'm not hard coding that or anything, I'll create another client, and if I pull up my client file, Jane Doe is in there. She's not deleted. And now if I come over here and delete it real quick, and then come over to clients, you'll see she's now deleted. So it works. Now you can also search for a client. So say we want to look for someone with the name of Doe, first or last. We get John and Jane, and I believe it's sorted by client ID. And if you want to clear it, you just hit filter again. If I wanted to find Robinson, which is my last name, you get me and my wife, sorted by client ID, and clear that. Okay. So that shows the creating, the deleting, the searching, and the showing all the clients. So we can do the same thing for movies. You have a list of all the movies. and it shows whether they are rented or not. And it actually shows it based off of, it's sorted by whether they are rented or not. So let me create one that's not rented, and I'll also show you how you create a movie. Let's say we create Harry Potter. So now it gets put down below the movies that are rented. So it shows all the movies that are rented first. Okay. So you can also filter this. So let's say we wanted to filter by Potter. It filters down to Harry Potter, and you can clear it. Want to do Jurassic for Jurassic Park. There's your Jurassic Park. You can clear it. Okay, and if you also see this details over here, you click on details, it will show you the movie info, whether it's rented, and then down here under rental info, it'll show you who has rented the movie, the date they rented it, and if it's been returned, it'll show a date right here. So let me show you one that has been returned. And there you go. It was rented on 11/26, returned 11/26. So you can see historically who has rented a movie, and it'll sort it by the date. So let's see if any of these, this one's still rented. We'll rent another one in just a second. Okay, so those are your movies. If you come back to clients, I'm going to show you how I rent and return a movie. So let's say Liz wants to rent a movie. And notice the only available movie right now that is not rented is Harry Potter. It's the one we just created. So notice if a movie is rented, it doesn't show up on this list, so you can't rent it. But let's say Liz wants to rent Harry Potter. And before I do that, let me show you the rental info file. So here's the rental info. Today is November 29th. And notice the latest one in there is the 28th. So whenever I click rent, it should populate with a new rental. And it'll also not have a date for the return. And it'll put the client ID, movie ID, and a rental ID. Okay. So if I come back over here and I hit rent, then I open up my file again. There it is. November 29th, no date. Client ID is 2, movie ID is 4, and the rental ID is 4. Okay, so if I go back to the clients, and let's say I want to see the details. So this is the details for Liz Robinson. Notice the movie we just rented, Harry Potter. It's rented today, and it'll be due in 1 week. And so while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show you the rental info. So for the rental info, we have the rental date, the movie, the due date, and notice if it's been returned, I'll populate that with a returned up here. And then the last column shows you how much they owe or how much they paid for that movie. So for the first movie that she returned, she paid $15. For the next movie, it is due December 5th, but she's only had it out 1 day. It was rented yesterday, so right now she owes $5. If it goes to tomorrow, she'll owe 10. The next day, 15, 20, all the way up to 7 days. And since she rented this one today, she has 24 hours until she has to pay. So right now it's 0. And also notice she has 2 movies that are rented. So we should get an error if you try to rent more than 3. So let me go back to the list. I'm just going to create a couple more movies. What are some good movies? Let's see. I'm not a big movie person. Let's say I like Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts, so we'll put that. Whoops, I'm putting it in the search, not the create. So Fantastic Beasts. And I also like the Mission Impossible movies. So we'll create that. So we got our 2 new movies. If I come back to Liz and I hit rent. Right now she has 2 movies, so she should be allowed to rent 1 more. So if I rent Fantastic Beasts and look at her details, she now has 3 active movies that have been rented. So she should not be allowed to rent another one. And notice when we come back in here to rent, it says you have already rented 3 movies, no more allowed. Hit OK, and even if you tried, it doesn't let you. You can't click on this link, can't rent it. So you've hit your max. Okay, so that shows that you can only rent 3 movies. Okay, so now let's show the return feature. I come over here to return for Liz. This time it will only show the active rentals, so the one that was returned is not in this list. So if you've already returned one, it doesn't show here. So let's say she wants to return this first movie that she owes $5. She hits return, go into details, and now it has been returned. And if you look at the file, the rental info, this is the movie she just returned. It was returned on 11/29, which is today, and she is client ID 2. So it has been returned. Okay, so let's return another one. And before I do that, I'm going to show you the file before I do it. So now she has 2 active rentals. So I believe she is client ID 2, so it would be the last line and the second to last line that were both rented today. So when I come in here and I hit return on Harry Potter, well, let's do Fantastic Beasts. That should be the very last line, so that way we can see it. I hit return, go back to my file, and it's been returned. Looks like it works good. Okay. And if you look at the movies file, you'll see the movies we just added: Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, Mission Impossible. And the last line shows whether they are rented or not. So we just did Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. And just to show this, if I was to come in and Liz wanted to rent or return Harry Potter, in the movies, Harry Potter shows as rented. So I'll return it. Go back to my movies. There you go. Alright, so that's everything for the clients, for the movies, and the rental info. So the last thing I want to do is just show you the structure of my files. So this is my Solution Explorer in Visual Studio. Here are my controllers. I have a client's controller, a home controller, and a movies controller. And then all my models. I have clients, home, movies, rentals. This is my interface for the models. Then these other 3, I combined a couple models. So it's just these client and movie combined, or client, movie, and rental combined, or rental and movie combined, just so I can get the layout right on the views. And then in my views, I have a clients folder, and this is all the views associated with my clients. This is the view associated with home, which is just the launch page to upload the files. And the last one is the movies folder, which is all the views for them. So that's pretty much my file structure and my project. I believe that's everything. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those. But that's it. Thank you very much.